Yes, I would absolutely encourage folks to reach out to support groups. Because there is help out there. You're not alone, and it really does help having somebody to talk to, knowing they're going through the same thing you are.
And
Marvell.
what I would add to that is that for, individuals, as Judy said, reaching out for help, but also ensuring that you can kind of understand perhaps what is available to you. So at caregiveraction.org, you can find out about how to pull together a complete medication list, what it means to be a healthcare proxy, financial tools and resources that are always important to have a full understanding. But at the end of the day, also understanding that you have to really take care of yourself, and self-care is an important part of this. As they tell you when you get on an airplane, you have to put on your own mask before you can help somebody else with their mask. And the same thing goes for caregiving. You have to be able to have a self-care and awareness, be able to there for your family member. And so we really encourage people to reach out to us. And again, they can give us a call for free at 855-CARE-640, or reach out to us at caregiveraction.org.
Caregiveraction.org. Marvell and Judy, thank you both for such an important discussion here on the Digital Desk. We appreciate your time. Thank you. Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. I'm Andrew Douglas. I want to bring in one of our favorite reporters here, Sam Hardiman from the Daily Memphian. He covers a lot of politics downtown at Memphis City Hall, daily beat writer there. And one of his latest articles has to deal with that big announcement that came last week, the future of XAI expansion, and some questions associated with it. So first off, Sam, good morning to you. So your article really highlighted and outlined the various expansion efforts, which is incredible and historic, certainly for Memphis and the Mid-South. And then this idea of the amount of questions because of such great power needed for all this. First off, tell me what that expansion of XAI means to this area in your best terms, in your best words.
Yes, certainly it's a big deal economically. It represents, this expansion, the announced expansion last week, which is up to 1 million chips will be at the data center in Memphis. That's tens of billions of dollars in investment coming into this community, right? That should have real implications for tax revenue. That's what it means. It means, probably several hundred jobs, but not a giant employer. This isn't a auto factory of any kind. But it means tens of billions in investment. That's a lot of money.
Yes, for sure, and so that's fantastic. And so the other issue that a lot of people seem to be concerned about is the issue of power. And you threw out a number of different figures there in your article, 148 megawatts with phase one. A second phase here would make it, just under 300 megawatts, and a planned
And that's what
substation.
exists today. To be clear, right? To
Right.
make that clear for people, there's XAI is approved to be on Memphis Light Gas and Water's grid and the Tennessee Valley Authority's grid. Remember that we're part of distribution system, and then we're part of a larger Tennessee Valley Authority grid. Okay, people need to keep that in mind. XAI is approved for 148 megawatts to be on that grid. That's for its first phase, and that's what was built rapidly this year. Okay, that second phase was also built rapidly this year and went on last week. That is not approved to be on the grid and still has to go to the TVA board. So that's what's happening. And in order to facilitate, and I'm sorry for interrupting you, Andrew, but just to help break it down, in order for that 140 megawatts that's already approved to be on the grid, a substation has to be complete. That substation is being built right now. So it's not fully on the grid right now, this massive data center, but it's something to keep in mind that each time it's connecting to the grid, it's going to need government approvals to get on the grid. It's going to need the Tennessee Valley Authority Board to say yes to it every single time it wants to add another 100 megawatts or more to the grid.
And the Greater Memphis Chamber President, Ted Townsend, other folks along the way, MLGW President and CEO Doug McGowan, they've all been very, very affirmative in their approval of everything that's happening with XAI, saying, yes, we can handle this power, up to this point. Do you ever foresee down the line an issue where they say, well, maybe there's a little bit too much power? I just see like there's so much positive affirmation with everything XAI is doing, and rightfully so. I mean, we're talking about being a Silicon Valley here in the Mississippi Delta area. Do you ever foresee the power issue becoming too much?
I mean, it's certainly something that like has to be watched going forward. I would say that I would disagree that Doug McGowan has been MLGW CEO Doug McGowan has been overwhelmingly positive for the project. I think he's tried to explain to the public what exists today and that the grid can handle it because it can. Okay, like let's be very clear. Like any news reporting that like is saying like this has caused problems for the Memphis grid already, that's not true. It hasn't happened. But like what we have to, and what we're talking about, what the article is really about here is if this thing is going to build to a million chips, right? Tens of billions investment. If all that investment is going to happen, it takes a tremendous amount of power. So we don't know the full power needs. Brent Mayo, the XAI executive who's quoted in the story, okay, says he doesn't know what the power needs of these later phases are going to be because the chips haven't been released yet. He doesn't know this yet. And so, it's important to see that XAI is saying we're looking to partner for more power generation, which means more electricity actually being generated. And then Memphis Light, Gas, and Water, back to my original point here, their statement in the story says, we haven't studied any of this, okay? And we need to look at it in order to maintain the safety of the grid. And what right now is very encouraging news. I mean, I'm paraphrasing their statement, but they did not commit to anything. And so I think like as these tens of billions of dollars are poised to be invested in Memphis, there is going to be a lot of conversations and a lot of really boring, analysis of how the Memphis Light, Gas, and Water grid system, the distribution system that is powering my ring light right now in your studio right now, how it can handle it, and then how the Tennessee Valley Authority, which is this broader network of transmission lines across 7 states, is going to be able to serve this need and the needs of any other data centers that are coming into its footprint. And so those are really big questions. And I think the announcement last week asked those questions. I think those questions are becoming very pressing. And so, yeah, to answer your question, Andrew, yeah, it's going to be an issue.
And not only that, and not only dealing with XAI, but of course you've talked about the other announcement, which is the possibility of super microcomputer, Dell and NVIDIA, all looking to perhaps come here and set up shop in some form or fashion, which would again, maybe put a little bit more of stress on the power grid as well.
Yeah, I mean, what we're talking about here is really heavy industrial use, and so there's going to have to be investment made, and there's going to have to be these companies are probably going to have to make investments. I would think that quote from Brent Mayo in my story about them potentially partnering on power generation, just something people should keep in mind, because that if XAI is going to, and also let's bear in mind, XAI is committed to, if the grid is ever stressed, they have Tesla megapacks because they're a company that's also affiliated with Elon Musk and they can buy those megapacks, right? Like that is a way for them to come off the grid and be able to power the calculations, that large language model, because that's what that is running. It's a data center running a large language model. That's what it is. And so able to do that when the grid is stressed, when it's really hot outside, because the grid is only stressed in the Tennessee Valley Authority grid, the actual electric generation. is only stressed a couple times a year. It's stressed when it's really hot and it gets stressed when it's really cold. Okay. We have power outages in Memphis, and those are because the distribution system fails. Those are not the same things. And so when the power comes out, it is not because there isn't enough power for us. That is not, businesses would not be here if they couldn't project stable power 99% of the time. So people just like keep that in mind. But this is going to be really important because that distribution system for MLG&W is going to have to grow.
Can you explain what those mega packs are with regards to?
Yeah, I mean, it's
Tesla?
a battery. It's a battery storage. So if you have, like, say, a portable battery that you take for your phone, right? And say, like, your phone's getting old and you need to charge it during the day, but you're going to be out hiking and you have a portable battery and you plug it into your phone, think of something on the industrial scale for that. Okay, it gets charged with power. And then when it's needed, it releases power into the grid. Memphis Light Gas and Water is trying to buy about $50 million worth of them. And so, like, that's what we're talking about here. Is just think of it as a really super big portable charger. That's what it is.
Do you expect any meeting upcoming, maybe perhaps after the first of the year, that's going to be discussing the type of power issues that you are discussing?
Can't project that. I don't know. I think that there's got to be timing. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know enough to know.
Gotcha. All right. Well, listen, this is fascinating news to cover. I mean, it's groundbreaking. It's historic in so many different ways here in Memphis and the Mid-South, and it certainly has a lot of questions that come along with it. And you brought it up in your article. Again, dailymemphian.com. You can see Sam's work and check it out. Anything else, Sam, before we let you go?
Nope. Thank you, sir.
All right, Sam Hardiman, appreciate you and all the work that you and your staff and the staff at Daily Memphian does each and every time I pick up the articles and read them online. We appreciate everything and coming on the digital desk and talking to all of us. Thanks, Sam.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Don't make me management.
Another live look at our high five camera here as we go to break. Downtown, 54 degrees at 9:39. We'll be talking about your forecast and a flurry of other news in 1 minute. Back here in the Action News 5 digital desk, for the first time in 12 years, there is an update to the clinical practice guidelines for treating a sleep disorder. Perhaps you've heard of it, restless leg syndrome, or RLS. It's a condition that's very common. It affects about 2 to 3% of adults in the U.S. Let's learn a little bit about that syndrome and the changes right now. Or I guess you could say an update with some of the clinical guidelines. I'm joined right now on the digital desk by Dr. John Winkleman, Chief of Sleep Medicine at Massachusetts General Hospital. He joins us on the digital desk. So first off, John, let's talk a little bit about what is restless leg syndrome and who's affected. Good morning.
Good morning, Andrew. RLS is a neurological disorder that affects sleep. The reason and the ways that it affects sleep is that at night, people have these uncomfortable feelings in their legs, achy, creepy, crawly, tingly feelings that make them need to get up from laying down so that they can't go to sleep. They're sleepy, but they can't lay down because their legs are bothering them. As you can imagine, this produces significant frustration and distress. They can't fall asleep, can't fall back asleep, and in the morning, they're sleep deprived and all the things that go along with that.
Okay, all right. I appreciate you explaining that to us. So now let's talk about some of the updates to the treatment guidelines.
Sure. The American Academy of Sleep Medicine has released its first updates to the clinical practice guidelines in 12 years. 12 years is a long time in sleep medicine, given what's been going on in sleep and our increased understanding. And that's true of RLS as well. I've been involved in the development of medications and devices to treat RLS for 20 years or so, and always trying to find better treatments. And I've been a paid consultant to a variety of companies, including Azurity Pharmaceuticals. The big change here with these guidelines compared to 12 years ago is that the dopamine medications, which have been the go-to medicines for doctors for 20 years for RLS, because they work so well in the short term, we now realize that for many people in the long term, they make the RLS worse. More hours of the day are affected by the RLS. Symptoms can go from the legs to the upper body to the extremities. And this is the last thing that any doctor wants to happen to their patient, is to make them worse. So we have now downgraded those medicines. We conditionally recommend against their standard use for RLS. The good news is that we have 4 good treatments for RLS with good evidence for them: gabapentin, gabapentin N-acarbal, pregabalin, and intravenous iron. All 4 of those work very nicely short-term. Long-term, only gabapentin N-acarbal and intravenous iron have demonstrated that they work for the 3 key outcomes. That's RLS severity, sleep, and quality of life. Downgrading of the dopamine medicines, we still have 4 good medicines to treat RLS.
So tell me, John, how did these changes come about?
Well, Andrew, myself and the other members of the task force, we spent 5 years meeting every month. These are people from all over the country, RLS experts, going over 1,500 trials of different medications and approaches to treat RLS. And we had statisticians reviewing the data, getting summaries of each one of the medications and their benefits and their side effects. And then as a group, we said, do these benefits outweigh the side effects for these medications? And on a case-by-case basis, we made decisions about those, which is why we have the strongly recommended, we have the conditionally recommended, and then we have the conditionally recommended against, where we think the side effects long-term outweigh the short-term benefits.
I really appreciate you explaining that to us. Fascinating stuff. I am interested, though, because we've talked a lot here about the whole process. Where can people see these new guidelines, these new treatment options, new medication for restless leg syndrome?
I think the important thing is that patients who think they might have restless leg syndrome should go to their doctor and say, I've got these feelings in my legs. Do you think it could be restless leg syndrome? Hopefully the doctor is aware of the new guidelines. Of course, any medication can have side effects, and you need to balance the side effects and the benefits of the medicine. So going to your doctor is number 1. The next thing is to go to the website for the Restless Leg Syndrome Foundation. That website is rls.org. This is a patient-run foundation. It's been around for a long time, very credible and reliable, useful information for people. rls.org is a really nice resource.
rls.org. Dr. John Winkelman, we really appreciate your time on the digital desk. Thank you for spelling it out in a very easy to understand way and giving us the new guidelines. We appreciate it. Welcome back to the Action News 5 digital desk. There is a Memphian that is doing amazing things on an international stage. Now, that doesn't surprise us. What's amazing about it is he is able to bring drinking water that's filtered, that's clean and refreshing to parts of the world that would not normally have fresh, clean drinking water. Let's bring in our next guest here. I am joined right now on the digital desk with Elliot Stovall. He's CEO and founder of the Filter Project, joining us on the digital desk. Elliot, good morning to you. I want to ask you first, tell us what the Filter Project is.
Yeah, hey, good morning, Andrew. Thank you for having me. So the Filter Project, we are a nonprofit ministry, as you alluded to, using a Sawyer water filter to clean water. Our filter that we use lasts for over 1 million gallons of water, or over 20 years for a family. And we use that to spread the gospel. Right now we're in Kenya, and we do that. We distribute it, and we use GPS location software to track our project, which can be viewed on our website. And so that's what the Filter Project does. And we're just trying to, again, bring clean water, which then we share the gospel using that.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic, Elliot. So tell me a little bit more, first off, about yourself. Are you a native Memphian? Where did you grow up? Where did you go to school? That sort of thing.
Yeah, so born and raised here. Went to high school and middle school at Briarcrest, graduated there, then went to University of Memphis and graduated from there in 2012, and have just been living here. I have a beautiful wife, Katie, and 2 children, Laurel and Grant, who are 8 and 6. And so I would say I am Memphis through and through. And I'm a member at Germantown Baptist Church on Poplar in Germantown.
Excellent, excellent, Elliot. All right, so where did this idea come about, the Filter Project, and how are and you said earlier you're focused on Kenya. Are you expanding this to other parts of the world? Tell me a little bit about the project and just what the goal is in the future.
Yeah, so we had a pastor, Cristiano, visit our church in our Sunday school class, and I had the opportunity to go out to lunch with him. And as I asked him about his ministry and learned more about Kenya and his life, I just asked him simply, what does a Tuesday look like in your book? And again, Andrew, I had no idea about the water crisis and what was really going on, because we have the opportunity here in America, and even more specifically here in Memphis, to have great clean drinking water. We actually wash our car with cleaner water than most people, over a third of the world, have to drink. And so as I talked to Cristiano and learned more about his situation and how he has to gather water every morning, I just simply asked, how do you clean the water? Because, I mean, we're not going to be drinking dirty water. It's 2024. And he humbly replied and said, well, sometimes, Elliot, we don't have the opportunity to boil the water because it's very expensive and takes a lot of energy. And I was just really affected by this, that you have this guy, and again, many other people in the world who don't have access to clean water. And I had prior knowledge of a filter. I have one actually right here attached to a water bottle. It's called a Sawyer water filter, and it cleans water, again, for over 1 million gallons of water, and makes it able to drink and takes all the contaminants out of it. And so I provided one with him to him, and then following a couple weeks later, I received a video from him and his family just thanking me for the filter and for the clean water. And I just felt like God was telling me to do more. And so that was really the beginning of the Filter Project, and kind of, again, my first knowledge of the water crisis that over 2 billion people in the world deal with. And so that is why we are in Kenya. We have partnerships there in Kenya. We work with local churches. We are currently distributing filters in Nairobi and some of the slums there. And then next year, we will be working out to more rural communities and bringing the Filter Project and clean water to them.
That is fantastic, Elliot. I love hearing about it. I love talking about it. This is Really something very special. I'm not surprised that a Memphian is doing this. Go Tigers, go! By the way, I want to also ask you about. About the ministry aspect and spreading the gospel of Jesus Christ. And tell me exactly how that works. Do you go first off with those missionaries in those countries and then see if they have, clean drinking water, or is it some other way? Explain that whole process.
Yeah, so we have a several step process of how we distribute our filters. We're not just simply going and throwing filters out and hope they get to the right place. We go through an assessment process to begin the community that we would like to be serving. That assessment process is a door-to-door process. During that process, we assess a church that we will work through to make sure that doctrinally that we align, and that pastor helps us and leads us to people of his congregation who could use to could use a job and could be a missionary for us and feel the call to share the gospel. And so these missionaries are indigenous to the communities that we're serving. We pay them a living salary to help them as they distribute these filters. After the assessment process is complete, we do a distribution in a group setting, anywhere from 100 to 1,000 filters at a time, just depending on the resources that we have been blessed with at that moment. And after this distribution, one of the awesome things, and probably one of the most important things that the Filter Project does, is these missionaries go and conduct 3 follow-up visits to the recipient family over roughly a 6 to 8 week period of time, where they, number one, check on the filter, make sure that the family is using it, make sure they know how to maintenance this filter. And to maintenance its filter, it's a quick and easy back flush of the filter. Again, our filter that we use is the Sawyer water filter, and it'll last for over 1 million gallons of water. And then at this follow-up visit, our missionaries teach discipleship lessons to these families, depending on the spiritual level of this person. Maybe they don't know who Jesus is. And so we share who Jesus is, what he did on the cross, his resurrection, and how we can accept him as a free gift. And he will save us and we'll be able to be a Christian, all the way up to maybe a Muslim, where we have conversation starters. And so our filter is not a quid pro quo. We don't make you accept Jesus to get a filter. We follow Jesus's example, where he worked with people and healed them of their physical ailments, and that turned them to him. And so that's what we do. Again, all of our filters are tracked. They have a QR code that is scanned at time of distribution and a follow-up. And we use geographic information systems and GPS to track that. And you can, again, go on our website at thefilterproject.org, where we work, and check out our dashboard and see all the individual filters that we've got out currently.
Thefilterproject.org. Elliot Stovall, I really appreciate your time on the digital desk. Thank you so much. God bless you and your staff and your family for doing some amazing work internationally, and certainly making us all proud here in Memphis and the Mid-South. We appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk here on a Monday morning, starting off in the wake of our heavy rain system that brought us anywhere from 1 to 2 inches of rainfall in most locations across the Mid-South. A little drier here today, so some damp roadways out and about here this morning. Of course, we're still stuck underneath a band of clouds that may break up for a couple of peaks of sunshine later on today as temperatures try to claw their way back up through the low 60s here in the city of Memphis. We'll probably get closer to that low 60 mark here later this afternoon. To the north of us, though, clouds will probably hold on firm, stuck in the 50s there, but 60s a little bit more dominant as you head southward as we get a little bit more sunshine to break through in North Mississippi and east central Arkansas. The clouds will thicken back up and a chance for some sporadic showers roll back in here as the disturbance approaches us from the west as we head into the overnight period tonight into the early hours of your Tuesday. We'll still have a few lingering showers east of the city of Memphis prior to sunrise tomorrow before it all clears out, and maybe some more sun peaks by the afternoon hours of Tuesday. Our colder air mass is going to start dropping into the area, and you will definitely notice a difference as we head towards your Wednesday. Temperatures starting off right around freezing early Wednesday morning as we get ready for a quick band of cooler air to move across the area. Of course, we've been talking about that potential for cooler air to start moving into the area. It comes by way of another system coming down out of Canada and again dropping into much colder air. Look at those wind barbs coming down the plain states. Of course, the warmer air right now getting pushed away, and of course the colder air returns to the area at least for a little bit of time. This is not going to be a long-term situation though, but look at where the coldest of the air is going to be located at: Iowa, Minnesota, back over to Illinois, over into Wisconsin, northern Missouri, and over towards Nebraska and the Dakotas. So again, the coldest air stays to the north, but we get a little bit of push of cooler air that obviously move into our area as we head towards the mid portion of the week. This will not be a long-term situation. Again, we'll come down below average as we head towards your Wednesday and Thursday. Highs in the 40s, lows in the 20s and 30s, but quickly a rebound in temperatures as we start to get warmer air filtering back in across the area heading towards the weekend. 54 on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, which is a little closer to average. The average high 55 degrees this time of the year, but we'll add in more clouds and opportunities for showers to come along with it as well. Of course, stay up to date with the very latest anytime and everywhere on the Action News 5 First Alert Weather app. You can download it in the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. Upon the 10-day forecast, again featuring highs today in the 60s, but again this is not a one-size-fits-all forecast. A lot of clouds here today, a couple of peaks of sunshine possible late on the back end of the day. A little better chance for rain overnight tonight, scattered about, temperatures in the 50s. We may actually drop into the lower 50s and maybe even upper 40s through the course of the day on Tuesday as clouds hang on. A couple sun peaks late in the day. The best rain chances will be early in the morning, prior to about 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. Sunshine to return on Wednesday and Thursday. Highs again 40s, lows in the 20s. We'll quickly start to see a transition as the warmer air starts to filter back in off the Gulf of Mexico. 54, partly sunny to mostly cloudy skies on Friday, and here comes the next rain chances Friday night into Saturday. A couple of waves of rain could be on the way as we head through the weekend and the start of next week, with a couple of opportunities for rain to come and go, along with the temperatures running closer to average for this time of the year. Remember that again, the average high is in the mid-50s, the average low in the upper 30s. So we'll be a little closer to some of those numbers as we head into the weekend and the start of next week. Maybe a couple of days here where it's not as prevalent of rain opportunities. That may be Tuesday of next week before another chance for rain sneaks in here by Wednesday of next week. But in the meantime, again, our biggest impact will come from the opportunities for rain late tonight, early tomorrow morning, and then the cool down that will come in association with the cold front sweeping out of the plain states for Wednesday, Thursday before the next waves of rain come in here late Friday into Saturday.
Hey, welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Social media has so many benefits for all of us, and for teenagers, helping them learn new skills, create friendships and support systems, that can be great, but it can also be, as we all know, very challenging to navigate, to keep kids safe online, especially teenagers. I'm joined right now on the Action News 5 Digital Desk by Dr. Whitney Caceres. She is a pediatrician, and she regularly talks to teens and parents about these issues. Dr. Caceres, thanks for joining us. Let's talk a little bit about maybe the top 3 concerns of parents when it comes to kids and teens using social media. Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, parents are concerned about who their teens are talking with, what type of content they're seeing, and if their time is well spent. And Instagram's teen accounts address all 3 of these top concerns for parents, which is really important to me as a clinician who hears these concerns day in and day out.
I bet you do. And so that is certainly an issue. Now, I know that Instagram and a lot of these social media platforms, every so often, maybe 6 months to 12 months, they do kind of a refresh, and they have kind of a way to protect kids and teens with their refresh. So what is Instagram teen accounts? What are they doing to protect teenagers out there?
Yep. So I see this as much more than a refresh, actually, from Instagram. Instagram's teen accounts are a new experience for teens entirely that is guided by parents, and it's designed with built-in protections really to limit who they're able to interact with, the type of content they can see, but also to provide new opportunities to explore their interests. Instagram has already placed tens of millions of teens into teen accounts automatically. And for teens under 16 years old, they need their parents' permission to make any of the settings in teen accounts less restrictive. I see this as a valuable tool for parents in my clinical setting because it will make those conversations a lot more thorough and will help parents to reinforce the restrictions that they have already at home or are attempting to have in their family.
So give us some examples of the kind of supervision that you recommend when it comes to parents and teenagers and social media.
Absolutely. Well, one of my favorite built-in protections in Instagram's teen accounts is actually the private account setting. So this means that teens have to accept any new followers and that only their followers are able to interact with them or to see their content. There's also a sensitive content control. So teens are placed in the strictest settings for Instagram's sensitive content control, meaning that they can't see age-inappropriate content in places like Reels or Explore pages. And then nighttime sleep is enabled. So between the hours of 10 p.m. and 7 a.m., notifications are silenced. Direct messages have an auto reply. This is going to really improve digital well-being and again, make those conversations and those regulations that parents want to have in their home a lot easier to enforce.
Okay, and what else can we talk about right now, Whitney? I mean, you know, there's so many, it's such a vast space out there, the online social media networks and teenagers going out there, almost like a blue ocean. What else comes up often when you talk with parents?
A lot of parents talk about how they want to have individual control of their supervision of their teens. And so with Instagram teen accounts, there are built-in protections, but some parents want to be even more involved with their experience online with social media. And so Instagram has actually updated their parental control feature. Parents are going to be able to do things that they ask me about and want all the time, like having insights into who their teens are chatting with. While parents can't see individual messages, they can see who their teens have contacted and been contacted by in the past 7 days. They can set total daily limits, which is something that's very important to the parents that I see. They can make it so that sleep time is completely disabled on the app for their teens. And I think exciting as well in terms of creating bonds with their teens, they can have insights into the age-appropriate topics that their teens are looking at. And so this gives parents more control and makes it much more individualized.
It sounds great. These all sound very good. Is there a place online where parents can look and kind of see the different changes and the different supervising tools for their teens?
Absolutely. To learn more, parents can go to instagram.com/teen accounts.
Okay. Anything else when it comes to, I know we talked a lot about Instagram. Is there anywhere else that you send parents when it comes to social media and teens?
Well, I think that globally, parents really want a place where their teens are going to be safe on the internet. No one wants an internet that's unsafe for teens. And parents also globally want it to be that on social media, that their teens are able to connect with their friends and that they're able to explore those different interests that they have. The American Academy of Pediatrics is a wonderful place to look up digital well-being, but also Instagram has an entire resource center for parents to talk about developing this well-being, and they've partnered with a lot of different leading organizations on it. In my experience, having ongoing open conversations about social media safety is one of the key factors in terms of helping teens to be more reasonable with their social media use and also to make safer choices. So that's always my number one suggestion with parents, is to keep those lines of communication open and to access resources that will help them to do it.
Great ideas, great tips, and great ways to protect teens online. Dr. Whitney Caceres, we really appreciate your time on the Digital Desk. Thanks so very much for spelling it out in an easy and concise way for all those parents out there. We appreciate it.
It's my pleasure.
South. Let's bring in an endocrinologist at Regional One Health. We are joined now by Dr. Gigi James, and she is going to talk a little bit about diabetes and first off, what it is and how it affects the body. Good morning, Dr. James.
Morning. Thank you very much for the invitation.
So tell us a little bit about diabetes and how it affects the body.
Diabetes is a condition that causes high blood sugars. If you have type 1 diabetes, your body does not make any insulin at all. But if you have type 2 diabetes, your body just does not use the insulin that you make properly. It can affect your heart, your eyes, your kidneys, your nerves, and your feet.
So what should you do if you're considered diabetic or you're most at risk? I mean, are there specific symptoms you should watch for?
Absolutely. And so if you are at risk for diabetes, absolutely go at least annually to your primary care physician to get routine testing. If unfortunately you progress and do have diabetes, then you really need to follow a consistent carb diet. And what I mean by that is about 2 to 3 servings of carbs for every meal, maybe 1 or 2 servings of carbs per snack. It's all about portion control, especially as the holidays approach. You can have some of your favorite things, but you have to limit them. You also need to get your screening tests like an annual eye examination. Make sure you get your feet examined by your clinician, as well as your urine check at least once a year.
I know that there are different types. There's a type 1, there's type 2. Did you want to talk a little bit about the differences and how it affects people?
Absolutely. And so if you have type 1, once again, you make little to no insulin. And so those people will need to take insulin injections at the initial diagnosis. If you have type 2 diabetes, excuse me, then maybe you can try pills or a non-insulin injectable, say a once a week injectable, to start off with. Now, if that does not control your blood sugar, then you may have to progress to insulin usage.
Okay, and what is the main thing you want people to remember and know about diabetes?
I want people to know that you can control your blood sugar and still eat your favorite things. It is all a balance. It's about what you eat, what you drink, and your exercise. Controlling your weight and exercise really helps improve blood sugars in and of itself.
Is there a place that you recommend people can go online to learn more about it?
Absolutely. The American Diabetes Association has a wealth of information on how to control your diabetes and to figure out if some of the symptoms that you're having may be related.
Okay, Dr. Gidra James, Regional One Health endocrinologist. Thanks for coming on the digital desk. We appreciate it and appreciate all the info you've given to us. Thank you. Hey, welcome back to the Action News 5 digital desk. There, of course, are tons of toys available for this holiday season, and parents, according to all these various studies out there, are going to be a little more discerning with their budgets this year. But toys, of course, remain a top priority. In fact, 69% of parents plan to cut costs elsewhere to ensure their kids have the top toys for the holidays. Let's bring in Jennifer Lynch. She is a toy trends expert and specialist to talk about some of those toys that are going to be hot trends this holiday season. Good morning, Jennifer.
Good morning. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you. So I see you have a very active and vibrant table there. Let's hear it.
Yeah, so let's get started by taking a look at a great option for preschoolers. So many preschoolers very familiar with Spidey and his amazing friends. This is a track set that's going to bring that action of the show to life for fans. So this is the Mega Jump HQ track set from Jazzwares. And this is a 39-inch dual track set. It comes with 2 exclusive vehicle toys from the Amazing Metals line. We've got Spidey's web crawlers. We've got Spin's Techno Racer. You could send them racing through the web tunnels on this racetrack, ending with 2 very unique exits. Also great about this is there's the web quarters on top. Lots of pretend play built into this one.
Fantastic. What else you got?
Over here. Yeah, over here we've got another great option. This one is perfect for Transformers fans. So this is the Transformers 1 Power Flip Optimus Prime Orion Pax action figure. This is from Hasbro, and it's bringing to life Optimus Prime's storyline, his heroic journey in the Transformers 1 movie. It's got 4 different transformations to it, really great and engaging. It's got lights, sounds, phrases built in to also bring the character to life for fans.
Very cool. Okay, keep it going.
Yeah. So again, a lot of parents are also sometimes looking for those educational options, those options that might sneak in a little bit of learning along the way. This is a really great option for doing that. This is the Lego Gravity Drop. This one is from Klutz. This is for ages 8 and up, and it combines Legos with paper crafts in a really unique way. Kids can actually build 5 different games using the Lego pieces and the paper craft elements to create really customized, unique gaming experiences that also incorporate a little hands-on physics, perfect for those budding engineers. Also, if you're looking to spark a love of reading, check out Booksies. This is a brand new collectible line from PMI Kids. This is for ages 3 and up, and it's going to, again, spark that love of reading. So it just looks like these cute little collectible characters, but they actually pop open, and hidden inside are little miniature books that kids can actually read based off of the characters that they come with. From the worlds of PMI's Monster Tales, we've got characters from Paw Patrol, we've also got characters from Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So really something that's going to inspire that also imaginative play. So kids can play with these figures based off of the books that come with them. So really, again, engaging kids in that way. And then last up over here, if you are looking to encourage a little action play, I'll get them kids up and moving. This new one from Play-Doh from Hasbro really accomplishes that. So this is the Play-Doh Pizza Delivery Scooter. So this one is encouraging kids to use the scooter as a kid-powered ride-on so they can scoot around the house, but they can also make and deliver their own pretend pizzas with it. So with this, there's an oven built into the back that's going to pop open. Kids can create their own little pizzas. They can use the play phone that comes with it. They can take their orders from their family members and their other customers, and then they can pop their pizzas into their delivery scooter, ride it off, and they can beep the horn to let their customers know that their orders are ready. It comes with 10 compounds. There's 16 different accessories with it, and lots of storage, which as a parent, I know parents are going to appreciate.
All right, Jennifer Lynch, just going through all of it there. Is there a place online where we can see some of these?
Yeah, you could head over to thegeniusofplay.org for more info on all these items.
Jennifer Lynch, thank you. Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. The flu, COVID, RSV, these are common respiratory illnesses with symptoms that can range from very mild to deadly in some cases. I'm joined now to talk more about these vaccines with Dr. Eric D. Griggs. He is someone who has dedicated his professional life to raising health and wellness awareness in communities all across the country. Dr. Griggs, good morning to you. I understand it's not too late to get this vaccine, various vaccines for the flu, COVID, and RSV. Is that right? Good morning.
Good morning. That's absolutely right. We're about 10 days out from Thanksgiving, in the midst of our holiday season. It's the perfect time to get vaccinated. It takes about 10 to 14 days for your immune system to kick in and get your protection. So this is the perfect time to risk less and do more by getting vaccinated.
Which populations are more at risk?
So the ones that are most at risk are extremes of age. Of course, our babies and pregnant moms, kids younger than 6 months, but particularly our adults ages 65 and older. As we age, our immune systems tend to weaken, and we need to do everything we can to help protect the extremes of age. One of the best ways that we can do that is by getting our vaccines and taking care of your health, because there are a lot of times that people that age tend to have chronic diseases that can compromise their immune system.
I'm curious, why do these respiratory infections always spike during the fall and spring?
You know, interestingly, it's that time of year that this time of year is when it tends to get cooler, and viruses, well, a lot of the respiratory viruses like COVID tend to like cooler temperatures. But we also congregate during these times of year, and that's the way that they're spread, right? We're crowded in indoor spaces during the holidays, loving on our families and our loved ones, and we pass those droplets onto each other. Then in the spring, we go outside, and we tend to congregate outside by a celebration of it. And the viruses take advantage of the fact of the human contact, and that's how they're perpetuated. So this is the time. These are the times of year that we need to do the best things we can to protect ourselves, take less risk, and do more to protect ourselves.
Eric, I know that you know that there are a lot of people that have vaccine fatigue. You know, they've heard so much about it coming out of the pandemic. The last thing they want to do is get another vaccine, especially when it comes to COVID. What do you say to those people?
So what I want to say first is I sympathize and empathize with you. It's been no fun on this side of it either, figuring it out. But I want them to understand that these things work. Vaccines were created for a reason. All vaccines, they have protected and saved millions of lives over the years because these viruses that have vaccines can be particularly deadly, and that's the purpose of having these vaccines. So we're getting it right. The vaccines work. Again, they've been proven time and time again. Don't buy into the myth that vaccines don't work, because they absolutely do, and we have the history and the data to prove it.
Anything else you want to mention right now before we let you go regarding the flu, COVID, RSV, or vaccines in general?
Yeah, I want people to take, if you can, it's the holiday season. It's a festive time to celebrate our loved ones, and the best thing you can do for yourselves is, again, take less risk by getting vaccinated, washing your hands, stay away from the family gathering. I know it sounds like a lot, but if you're not feeling well, stay home. If you're going to go around people and you're feeling even just a small cold, put on a mask. And again, like your mom always told you, wash your hands, please wash your hands.
All right, Eric Griggs, Doctor of Community Medicine, we appreciate your time on the digital desk, and thank you for all the information.
Thanks for joining us here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk here on a Monday morning, starting off in the wake of our heavy rain system that brought us anywhere from 1 to 2 inches of rainfall in most locations across the Mid-South. A little drier here today, so some damp roadways out and about here this morning. Of course, we're still stuck underneath a band of clouds that may break up for a couple of peaks of sunshine later on today as temperatures try to claw their way back up through the low 60s here in the city of Memphis. We'll probably get closer to that low 60 mark here later this afternoon. To the north of us, though, clouds will probably hold on firm, stuck in the 50s there, but 60s a little bit more dominant as you head southward as we get a little bit more sunshine to break through in North Mississippi and east central Arkansas. The clouds will thicken back up and a chance for some sporadic showers roll back in here as the disturbance approaches us from the west as we head into the overnight period tonight into the early hours of your Tuesday. We'll still have a few lingering showers east of the city of Memphis prior to sunrise tomorrow before it all clears out, and maybe some more sun peaks by the afternoon hours of Tuesday. Our colder air mass is going to start dropping into the area, and you will definitely notice a difference as we head head towards your Wednesday. Temperatures starting off right around freezing early Wednesday morning as we get ready for a quick band of cooler air to move across the area. Of course, we've been talking about that potential for cooler air to start moving into the area. It comes by way of another system coming down out of Canada and again dropping into much colder air. Look at those wind barbs coming down the plain states. Of course, the warmer air right now getting pushed away, and of course the colder air returns to the area, at least for a little bit of time. This is not going to be a long-term situation though, but look at where the coldest of the air is going to be located at. Iowa, Minnesota, back over to Illinois, over into Wisconsin, northern Missouri, and over towards Nebraska and the Dakotas. So again, the coldest air stays to the north, but we get a little bit of push of cooler air that obviously move into our area as we head towards the mid portion of the week. This will not be a long-term situation. Again, we'll come down below average as we head towards your Wednesday and Thursday. Highs in the 40s, lows in the 20s and 30s, but quickly a rebound in temperatures as we start to get warmer air filtering back in across the area heading towards the weekend. 54 on Saturday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, which is a little closer to average. The average high 55 degrees this time of the year, but we'll add in more clouds and opportunities for showers to come along with it as well. Of course, stay up to date with the very latest anytime and everywhere on the Action News 5 First Alert Weather app. You can download it in the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. Upon the 10-day forecast, again featuring highs today in the 60s. But again, this is not a one-size-fits-all forecast. A lot of clouds here today, a couple of peaks of sunshine possible late on the back end of the day. A little better chance for rain overnight tonight, scattered about. Temperatures in the 50s. We may actually drop into the lower 50s and maybe even upper 40s through the course of the day on Tuesday as clouds hang on. A couple sun peaks late in the day. The best rain chances will be early in the morning, prior to about 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. Sunshine to return on Wednesday and Thursday. Highs again 40s, lows in the 20s. We'll quickly start to see a transition as the warmer air starts to filter back in off the Gulf of Mexico. 54, partly sunny to mostly cloudy skies on Friday. And here comes the next rain chances Friday night into Saturday. A couple of waves of rain could be on the way as we head through the weekend and the start of next week, with a couple of opportunities for rain to come and go, along with the temperatures running closer to average for this time of the year. Remember that, again, the average high is in the mid-50s, the average low in the upper 30s. So we'll be a little closer to some of those numbers as we head into the weekend and the start of next week. Maybe a couple of days here where it's not as prevalent of rain opportunities. That may be Tuesday of next week before another chance for rain sneaks in here by Wednesday of next week. But in the meantime, again, our biggest impact will come from the opportunities for rain late tonight, early tomorrow morning, and then the cool down that will come in association with the cold front sweeping out of the plain states for Wednesday, Thursday before the next waves of rain come in here late Friday into Saturday.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. I'm Andrew Douglas. Cholesterol levels. We're always looking at finding the optimal cholesterol levels. There's good cholesterol, there's bad cholesterol, there's high cholesterol, and then there are ways to lower cholesterol naturally. Let's talk about this right now. I am joined by Dr. Zulfikar Baloch. He is an MD, an interventional cardiologist at St. Francis Hospital. Dr. Baloch, thanks for joining us on the digital desk. Let's talk about maybe first off the biggest misconceptions when it comes to cholesterol. Good morning.
Thank you. Thanks for having me here. Good morning.
So where do people get it wrong, doctor? What's their biggest problem when it comes to making sure we have the optimal level of cholesterol?
Yeah, that's a great question. You know, cholesterol, frankly, if we talk about cholesterol is very important for our body. If you look like, our important hormones are made up by cholesterol, like estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, cortisone. It is very important for our body to run the system of the body. And the biggest thing, cholesterol, there are different, first of all, diet is most important, which some diets contain high fatty diet. In addition, there are some people, they are very good, they are vegan, even though if you see their, their cholesterol level is very high. So those have genetic, familial hypercholesterolemia. So they are two most important. And the why as a cardiologist and as a physician also, why are we worried about high cholesterol? Because this is a thing which we can treat by lifestyle and by medication. And if you see the, biggest cause of death in here in the US, you can see, heart attack and stroke. We can prevent by fixing cholesterol. This is what we call preventive medicine. These, in the last 1 to 2 decades, United States government is significantly improving a lot of like primary care, health care, because preventive is better than cure. So this is what I was talking this morning. Our colleague that always we have to do screening of the patient. For instance, if anyone has high cholesterol, we can treat with medication. So that's a, and now coming on your question, like, you say, what are the target number? There are like 4, 5 most important, like total cholesterol, less than 200 is good, and LDL. So if anyone does not have a diabetes, our goal is to less than 100. If anyone has a diabetes, high blood sugar, our goal is to less than 70. And then there's a good cholesterol, HDL. It needs to be more than 50, and triglycerides. So these are some numbers usually we see. And sometimes, if anyone has high cholesterol, if anyone has uncontrolled diabetes, we try to give multiple medication, but their cholesterol doesn't come. So there's a one terminology we call diabetes dyslipidemia. So we have to fix their diabetes to bring the cholesterol level down.
Are there natural ways that you suggest maybe for some of your patients out there to lower cholesterol? I know that there's statins out there, there's medication, but there's some people that just don't want to take it or take it as a last result. What about diet? What can we do when it comes to our diet that can lower cholesterol, doctor?
So, diet, low-fat diet, you will see a lot of cholesterol in red meat. You will see less cholesterol in fish, chicken. Some people are, they try to eat a lot of like red meat. And diet and exercise. If we talk about like good cholesterol, HDL, there's none of medication approved which increase the HDL. So lifestyle, exercise improve your HDL. So there are like, for instance, if anyone cholesterol is significant high, LDL 190, our goal is to bring cholesterol more than 50%. Other than medication, it's very challenging to bring LDL less than 50%. So what happened if anyone has genetic, so what from where LDL comes, it liver max LDL. So whatever you will give diet, even though low fat diet, but liver has tendency to make cholesterol, LDL. So that's why, we always recommend people needs to get some medication to bring cholesterol down, especially LDL. I have seen that, I have some experience of my patient. So what they ended up with heart attack. And there's a very common effect that community people say, okay, statin does give you muscle lack. Yes, that's true, but it's a 1 to 5% population, not 95%. So if anyone has a heart attack, what they do, they go to gym and they hire a trainer. Trainer will ask them to do 30 minutes, 45 minutes non-stop workout. At the end of the day, they will come with muscle pain and they will think about, oh, statin is irresponsible for my muscle pain. So we have to be very careful.
Yeah. So let me ask you, doctor, because I appreciate this. More fish and less red meat certainly are ways. Diet and then exercising as well. What about nuts? I've heard like walnuts. In fact, I had higher cholesterol, but I took. My mom told me, of all people, take about a handful of walnuts every day with yogurt and what have you, and you'll see your cholesterol go down. And that's exactly what happened. I'm surprised that isn't, written everywhere. What do you think?
Yes, that's good, nuts, seeds, those. And if you like, 100 years ago, there was not medication. So people used to like eat these plants and herbal medication, but a lot of research is coming out. And then herbal medication, there's not a research, like there's common misconception, people that like red rice. It's not approved by FDA. FDA doesn't say take red rice. And fish oil, omega-3, it also does decrease cholesterol, but you have to take like bunch of fish oil, bunch of omega-3 to bring cholesterol down, which is needed to reduce the risk of heart attack and stroke.
Yes, I understand. Let's talk about the problems with high cholesterol and the plaque buildup and how that can lead to some very severe issues for someone who has it.
Yeah, so what happened, whenever our total cholesterol LDL is high, so what it does in the blood vessels, which we call arteries, slightly it build the atherosclerosis plug. So if it is happening in the heart, we ended up with heart attack. If it is happening in the blood vessel of the neck, we ended up with stroke. If it is happening in the lower extremities, like below the knee, above the knee, we call it peripheral vascular disease. And also in the abdomen, aorta also. So these are some risk factor. If anyone has like heart, blood vessels of the heart ended up with heart attack. So these are some side effects by high cholesterol.
Anything else you want to touch on? Let's first off, because we've identified high cholesterol, the good cholesterol, bad cholesterol, ways to bring it down. What's the best method to get our cholesterol tested?
So always discuss with your healthcare provider, like primary care physician, and ask them to lipid serum lipids. We always recommend it needs to be dry in the morning because when you're eating afternoon or nighttime, it does give you different variation. Always do at the fasting lipids level. It needs to be ordered by primary care physician like healthcare provider.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, listen, Dr. Zulfikar Baloch, we appreciate your time on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Thanks for letting us know about the cholesterol issues. And again, it's one of those tests that you need to go to your primary care physician and get it tested. But we appreciate all the advice you've given us. Anything else you want to mention before we let you go?
Means some are heredity, like if anyone has genetic, for instance, if any family member early age, or for instance, mother, father has cholesterol issue in their 40s and 50s, their kids needs to be aware about that. We also see in a young population also, at least once in a time, one time in their life in early stage, they need to screen for high cholesterol. um, they can do a screen for that. If it is high, then there are different treatment options. I always encourage lifestyle modification because that's the more important thing. Every medication has a side effects. There are certain medication over the counter like Tylenol also has a side effects. So this is what I tell my patient, that I'm not a big fan of prescribing medication. Lifestyle modification is very important.
All right, Dr.
Exercise,
Baloch, we
keep an eye on
appreciate your
it.
time. Thank you so much, and we appreciate you coming on the digital desk. Thank you.
Thank you for having me here. I appreciate it.
Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Women's health, that is such a broad and important topic, and it's something that we need to continue to update ourselves for our loved ones out there, for family members out there, not just the physical health, but mental aspects as well. I'm joined right now on the Action News 5 Digital Desk by Dr. Tosa Jackson. She is Chief Nursing Officer at Methodist South Hospital. Dr. Jackson, welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Do me a favor and tilt down your camera just a bit. We have a lot of headroom there, and we want to make sure that when we say we have your name, that we have enough room to see you. If you could tilt it down, that'd be great. I want to ask you here, first off, tell me where women and people who love women, when it comes to their health, where are the biggest mistakes made? I'm not hearing you.
All right, is that better?
Perfect.
Thank you. Good morning, and thank you for having us here this morning. Women's health is a really big topic any time of year. You do hear a lot of focus around Breast Cancer Awareness Month, around the Heart Health Month, but we want to, at Methodist Healthcare, have a women head to toe heart focus throughout the entire year. So this is why today we're focusing on a lunch and learn and a kitchen table talk to just discuss women's health from head to toe.
Okay, so give us, I would say, what, top 3 strategies when it comes to comprehensive women's health?
So comprehensive health, I will say for those that are more seasoned, it would be focusing around menopause, GYN health, just overall female health things such as hormone therapy and things like that. Secondly, cardiovascular history, especially if it runs in the family, if it's hereditary. We want to ensure that cardiovascular health is also one of the great things we talk about in women's health. And then thirdly, just overall, we are in cold, flu, COVID season. So we also want to make sure healthy lungs and just make sure we're getting in exercise, water, hydration. Although it's the winter months, it is still very important to make sure we hydrate.
No question about it. Staying active, watching your heart, your lungs. No question, physical activity is great. What about the mental aspects to reduce the stress and anxiety that so much of us feel each and every day?
So around the holidays, mental health stress reduction techniques are very important, especially if someone's lost a loved one, just the memories associated with holidays. And many of us focus around happy times, family times, and a lot of times women are now the head of the household, or they've been the one that's kind of keeping the house together. And that can be a very stressful time around the holidays to perform or actually to miss that loved one that's no longer there. So mental health is also extremely important as we look at women's health from head to toe, because a lot of times we forget about the mental health piece.
Yeah, I know mental health is huge, and it's become a big talker, especially out of the pandemic. A lot more emphasis on mental health.
Yes.
What do you tell perhaps patients that come to Methodist South about diet? You know, we've talked about exercise, we've talked about mental health. What about diet?
Diet, and we a lot of times put diet and exercise together. Diet is extremely important, especially if you have a history of diabetes or cardiovascular disease. What you eat is extremely important. Here at Methodist, and as particularly at Methodist South, we do host a farmers market where we bring in fresh fruits and vegetables from farmers within the area so that they can market and sell their produce to actually promote healthy heart, healthy living, um, set insulin levels, or if you're diabetic, to ensure that you're getting all of that nutrient that you need to maintain. You can still live a very healthy lifestyle if you have a history of diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure, things like that, all around your diet. But hydration is also very important when it comes to diet. A lot of times people think of what you're eating for diet, but also what you're drinking. As we come up on the holidays, we know sometimes alcohol consumption could be more than what we typically have, especially at Thanksgiving and Christmas dinner. But we also want to make sure we consume alcohol in moderation, but make sure we're hydrating with water. Sometimes caffeinated drinks can also affect your diet. So water is the utmost important for your overall women's health.
All right, so we've talked about mental health, we've talked about physical health, we've talked about diet and exercise. What else can we talk about before we let you go?
I think we've covered it from head to toe. I will tell you, a lot of us are very into getting our hair done, our nails done, our toes done, and that's a extra self-esteem booster for a lot of us. So I do want to encourage women to continue to get those things done, just so we have a positive self-esteem as we check into our heart health. I also remind women to do things around your birthday. Have all of your checkups, have your breast exam, your GYN exam. Do a lot of that around your birthday. And that way, annually, you're doing a self checkup once a year around that important time of your life when you're, getting another trip around the sun. You're also giving yourself another trip into healthy lifestyles.
All right, Dr. Tosha Jackson, Methodist South Hospital's Chief Nursing Officer. We appreciate your time on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Thanks so very much and happy holidays.
Happy holidays and thank you.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. As we all know, those scammers and various scams are out there. And during the holiday season, they really ramp up and they're trying their best to ruin Christmas and the holidays for everybody out there by taking your hard-earned money. Let's bring in someone to talk more about ways to protect yourself when you're shopping online, protect your money, protect your accounts, that sort of thing. I'm joined right now on the Action News 5 Digital Desk by Dino Dizovi. He is head of security for Cash App, joining us on the digital desk to talk about ways to protect ourselves from all these scams and scammers out there. Dino, good morning. Where should people begin when it comes to avoiding these scams and scammers?
Yeah, thanks for having me. The first thing that people should remember is that if anything seems too good to be true or seems weird offline, it's also too good to be true online. And that's a good way to make sure you don't fall for scams really online anywhere.
So are there new scams, new ways that scammers are trying to bilk money out of people? If you can, tell us some of the new scams to watch out for.
Sure, especially during the holiday season, there's one new scam that we're seeing a lot, and that's the pay up front scam. And what that is that's where someone from a usually unverified social media account is advertising that they have the top thing that's really hard to get this season. But in order to get it, you need to pay them up front and in advance. Now the problem is you send them the money and then later on you never receive the item. So what you need to do is make sure to pay really close attention to any scam alerts that you'll get in a payments app like Cash App, and also to only pay for an item after you've received it.
I appreciate that. Thank you for the heads up there. Let's talk about ways that people can protect their accounts. And I know you have several different ways for that, right?
Yeah, there's a number of things we ask everyone to do to best protect themselves. The first, make sure to enable the PIN or Face ID in the app. That makes sure that if someone has temporary access to your account or your phone, they can't also use them to pay themselves. The second is for an email address that's associated with your account, make sure that the password you've used for that account is a password that you haven't used anywhere else, because scammers can use data breaches to get access to that email account and then use that to take over your financial account. The third is make sure that for the verification codes that your payment apps will send you to log in, that you get to your mobile phone, don't share those with anyone else. Cash App, for example, will never ask you for that code. And finally, if you use like a Cash App debit card, make sure to turn on card lock or turn on real-time notifications so that if someone is using that card, you can block it immediately. And always remember, if something is too good to be true offline, it's also too good to be true online.
Let me ask you this. Where do people really get into trouble or make their biggest mistakes? And tell me if different generations make different mistakes out there.
Sure. Yeah, one thing we are noticing is that Gen Z is 3 times more likely to fall for these scams than other generations, but that's only because they're spending more time online and they're really used to that instant gratification from everything being online. And so scammers know how to take advantage of that. One of the ways they do that is with what's called the cash flip scam. That's where someone says, send me some money and I'll send you double your money right back. But this is just a more modern twist on the Ponzi scheme. And you send the money, you never get anything back. So that's just one way that scammers are taking advantage of kind of the increasingly move to everything being online.
Dino, what else? What else can we do? Maybe some top tips you recommend for people to just protect themselves from fraud and other scams out there?
Yeah, there's a few other scams that we see all year round that everyone should keep their eye out for. One is the fake giveaway, and that's usually where an unverified social media account is offering free money. It's too good to be true. The second is the other app download, where they're telling you to download another app. And the third is really tricky. That's the accidental payment scam. That's where you'll actually receive a payment from someone you don't know, and then they'll also send a request saying, hey, I made a mistake, sent it to the wrong person. Please send me the same amount back. Now, the thing is, that payment was with stolen funds. And so when the legitimate owner reports it, that payment's going to get reversed. And then you'll be out the money that you sent to the scammer.
I'm sure you see all kinds of crazy stuff with Cash App, and being head of security there. Anything else you want to mention before we let you go? Because you're giving valuable information each and every time you answer.
Thanks. Yeah, there's a few other things. One is make sure to look at the email address and phone numbers that are associated with your payment accounts and remove any ones that you aren't using anymore. Sometimes those can be reassigned, and that can give other people access to your account. There's other things that you can also do. And for more information on these, go to cash.app/scams.
Dino, dropping great and useful nuggets of knowledge on the digital desk. We appreciate your time. Thank you so much, and happy holidays to you.
Same to you.
Thanks for joining us here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk here on a Monday morning, starting off in the wake of our heavy rain system that brought us anywhere from 1 to 2 inches of rainfall in most locations across the Mid-South. A little drier here today, so some damp roadways out and about here this morning. Of course, we're still stuck underneath a band of clouds that may break up for a couple of peaks of sunshine later on today as temperatures try to claw their way back up through the low 60s here in the city of Memphis. We'll probably get closer to that low 60 mark here later this afternoon. To the north of us, though, clouds will probably hold on firm, stuck in the 50s there, but 60s a little bit more dominant as you head southward as we get a little bit more sunshine to break through in North Mississippi and east central Arkansas. The clouds will thicken back up and a chance for some sporadic showers roll back in here as a disturbance approaches us from the west as we head into the overnight period tonight into the early hours of your Tuesday. We'll still have a few lingering showers east of the city of Memphis prior to sunrise tomorrow before it all clears out, and maybe some more sun peaks by the afternoon hours of Tuesday. Our colder air mass is going to start dropping into the area, and you will definitely notice a difference as we head towards your Wednesday. Temperatures starting off right around freezing early Wednesday morning as we get ready for a quick band of cooler air to move across the area. Of course, we've been talking about that potential for cooler air to start moving into the area. It comes by way of another system coming down out of Canada and again dropping into much colder air. Look at those wind barbs coming down the plain states. Of course, the warmer air right now getting pushed away, and of course the colder air returns to the area at least for a little bit of time. This is not going to be a long-term situation though, but look at where the coldest of the air is going to be located at: Iowa, Minnesota, back over to Illinois, over into Wisconsin, northern Missouri, and over towards Nebraska and the Dakotas. So again, the coldest air stays to the north, but we get a little bit of push of cooler air that obviously move into our area as we head towards the mid portion of the week. This will not be a long-term situation. Again, we'll come down below average as we head towards your Wednesday and Thursday. Highs in the 40s, lows in the 20s and 30s, but quickly a rebound in temperatures as we start to get warmer air filtering back in across the area heading towards the weekend. 54 on Saturday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, which is a little closer to average. The average high 55 degrees this time of the year, but we'll add in more clouds and opportunities for showers to come along with it as well. Of course, stay up to date with the very latest anytime and everywhere on the Action News 5 First Alert Weather app. You can download it in the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. Upon the 10-day forecast, again featuring highs today in the 60s, but again this is not a one-size-fits-all forecast. A lot of clouds here today, a couple of peaks of sunshine possible late on the back end of the day. A little better chance for rain overnight tonight, scattered about, temperatures in the 50s. We may actually drop into the lower 50s and maybe even upper 40s through the course of the day on Tuesday as clouds hang on. A couple sun peaks late in the day. The best rain chances will be early in the morning, prior to about 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. Sunshine to return on Wednesday and Thursday. Highs again 40s, lows in the 20s. We'll quickly start to see a transition as the warmer air starts to filter back in off the Gulf of Mexico. 54, partly sunny to mostly cloudy skies on Friday, and here comes the next rain chances Friday night into Saturday. A couple of waves of rain could be on the way as we head through the weekend and the start of next week, with a couple of opportunities for rain to come and go, along with the temperatures running closer to average for this time of the year. Remember that again, the average high is in the mid-50s, the average low in the upper 30s. So we'll be a little closer to some of those numbers as we head into the weekend and the start of next week. Maybe a couple of days here where it's not as prevalent of rain opportunities. That may be Tuesday of next week before another chance for rain sinks in here by Wednesday of next week. But in the meantime, again, our biggest impact will come from the opportunities for rain late tonight, early tomorrow morning, and then the cool down that will come in association with the cold front sweeping out of the plain states for Wednesday, Thursday before the next waves of rain come in here late Friday into Saturday.
All right, that does it for us here in the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Have yourself a wonderful afternoon. Look at that. Look at that.